Good morning, I am Adam Harris, and this is The Day Ahead. Click subscribe below to be kept in the loop with our daily multi-market analysis video. On the economic calendar for today, we have the Bank of England's Governor Carney speaking at 9:15 a.m. In FX, the US dollar bangs its head against 97 and could form a downtrend. In the commodities, we finally see gold make a strong break up through key resistance while oils stay weak. The global indices look to close their weekend gaps, with equities overall sticking to their own trends. You can jump to any chapter by clicking on the time link in the description below. Starting off with the currencies in play, looking at the US dollar index, actually produced some resistance against and off that 97 level. Price heading back down towards these lows. If we break these lows, we'll have that confirmed downtrend. And so if that's going to happen, that's likely to happen today. We're here sitting at that level. If we look at Euro US dollar, seeing an inverted version of that. Remember that the Euro USD and US dollar index are not 100% inverse correlated. They can actually differ. So this is usually why I compare both of them as well. So here we've got a high low in place. Here's the previous high. We're a little bit further away, but if we do break that, if we have a strong bullish day today, and we break that, we'll go into a confirmed uptrend. And then just revisiting the swing trades from last week, going through on those, we've got Pound Aussie and Euro Aussie. Although it was a bit of a retracement, a bit of a swing low forming yesterday, we're actually still looking relatively weak, and so that positions, those are still ongoing, actually ultimately did not retrace back up that high, except for Euro Aussie here producing a bit of a bullish candle, most likely going to retrace back up in towards the moving averages. We'll be keeping an eye on that, and Kiwi CAD also looking as though it wants to continue on upwards, so having not broken the low of the most bearish candle. And that overall being everything that's happening in currencies for today at this point in time. In the commodities on the move, starting off with gold, it's had a lovely day yesterday and following through today already, breaking through previous levels of resistance. We haven't yet, I'd like to see a close above this. We've broken above this level of the 1236 level before and then closed below it as a rejection. So I want to see us definitely want to follow through on that. But that is a very nice overall uptrend there. Let's just have a look at that actually on the weekly just to see how that is forming there. You can see we've got this overall uptrend maintained so far. I want to see us break this previous high, but that looking really nice and bullish. Silver is now testing its limit here yesterday, looking at yesterday's resistance, or at least the most recent one tested it yesterday. I want to see it follow through on that one. US crude oil. Overall looking relatively weak. We are still in the sell zones. Any nice bearish rejection candles here would be a potential swing high as that trend resumes, but definitely noting a level of support. So that will be an interesting level to see if we do break below that. And then just carrying on with Robusta coffee, just seeing that this trend is still maintaining itself and looking relatively nice and healthy. No signs of any reason or any reason why that would change at any point in the near future. So maintaining that position and still bearish on that. Next, onto the global indices, starting off with Australia. So I'll go right to left this time as well. These sessions already sort of currently in play. Looking at that bearish candle still heading back down to test that level. So what's effectively happening from a lower time frame perspective is we're closing the gap up that happened on Sunday evening as the markets opened. So the first thing I'm really expecting, I find it perfectly normal if we can head down, test the levels, and then produce a bullish candle, and then produce a swing low, certainly on the daily time frame. Within the weekly time frame, ultimately by Friday, if this plays out as it usually would, we would move down, touch, close the gap, and then head up and close bullishly. So if we have a look at Germany 30 as well, we can see although we have a bearish candle here on the weekly time frame, we're still coming in to close that gap potentially. So it's a little too early to draw any conclusions from this. Really have to see how we handle that gap. And we've also got on the UK the bearish candle forming here in that sell zone. So agree that this looks nice and bearish on the weekly, but it's really only Tuesday morning. It's very early to tell at this time. As we then head across towards the US to get a bit more perspective on it as well, we've got that strong weekly candle from last week. We've similar behavior to what we've had here, except the big difference being how strong and bullish last week's candle was. And so we should come ahead, close the gap today, and then bounce back up from that. That's the usual type of behavior. If we don't get that usual behavior, that in itself is obviously a message. So here we've got that bullish candle again coming in. We're very close to closing that gap. And so if the markets decide to behave as the way that they usually do in terms of a technical behavior, we should close the gap today and finish a little bit higher. We may even just get a bit of a bullish candle or we might actually find we get a bit of a stronger bounce throughout the day. So be keeping an eye on that. Be interesting to see where we are by this time tomorrow morning, whether we have continued down and just ignored that bounce, or whether we have actually recovered from that. But usual expectation to see it bounce and then start to climb higher. And then wrapping up on our equities and focus, starting off here with Google. Although we had a bit of a gap up, we've also come back down, potentially to close that gap. We are obviously within the 10 and 20 moving averages. We may continue down, but the story isn't over yet. We really need to see how today, the next 24 to 48 hours plays out. If we have a look at, say, Apple, and then we have a look at it on let's just have a look at it on a weekly time frame. You can see we're still currently forming a bullish candle and not coming back yet. We're not necessarily as obligated to close those gaps as we might be with indices. They're not usually traded as much. Amazon as well, actually really gapping and not really wanting to come down very much. That one is sort of trying to maintain that bullishness. If we have a look at, say, Boston Scientific, we've got the similar type of approach, that strong bullish reaction. Not really, it's very reluctant to come back down, already coming up to test its highs. So that's going to be its focus this week, is kind of break the highs and really break through that resistance. And then we've got a new one on our list today. We've got Burberry. So Burberry, one of the things I like about it is the potential breakout pattern that it's forming here. It's got a strong level of resistance close to 1880, and really looking to see if we ultimately produce higher lows going into that and break through that level. So the more we build up, the more touches we get at the level, the more that pressure can build up. Once we then ultimately break out through that, we'll have a significant move to the upside. So keeping an eye on that. Keeping an eye on that. We're not there yet, but having to see how that goes. And EasyJet and Barclays still maintaining their bearish tones. Actually, I'll just go straight to Barclays as well. Still maintaining that bearish note. Standard Chartered. This is Barclays still testing those levels of support, and Standard actually reluctant to resume that downtrend, so actually showing some signs of bullishness at the moment within that overall downtrend, still producing a bit of it. But this is a weekly time frame, and again looking for a break of the low of the previous candle, or waiting for a nice bearish weekly candle here, and then we'll take revisit the idea of a swing high, resuming that to the downside. On that note, ladies and gents, I want to wish you a wonderful day. If it's trending, I'll be there. Just a reminder to hit the subscribe button. If you want to stay abreast of what's happening in the market, I'll be producing and bringing you the latest in the markets every morning in a freshly produced video.